You know, Al, we've been really hitting our stride with this Resident Evil train. Let's just keep it moving, choo choo,
Choo choo.
choo choo. Keep it rolling on through. Oh, hang on. I'm getting some word in my ear. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Oh. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Yes. I will relay this message that I just received.
Mhm.
Um, the train conductor for the Resident Evil choo choo train has said that due to an unforeseen circumstance, they are having to make a stop at this station, and that means the train's not going to be continuing on this week.
Oh, snap.
That's a sad thing. I don't. You know, we were really prepared to talk about Resident Evil 2 this week, but I guess if the train's not coming, we can't really do anything about that.
Mm-mm.
So, if only there was something else that had come out recently that we could talk about, and that we're very
Hmm.
known to talk about. Hmm.
Hmm. Something I have a huge interest in.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, I feel like we're gonna figure that out along the way here on episode 115 of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Owl and Lady M.
Hello.
And hello, we're here to talk to you about the latest Code Realize fan disc,
Yep.
which
Yes, we are.
which of course came out on like the most perfect day for this to come out on Valentine's Day,
Mm-hmm.
and
It was my Valentine's Day date.
it was. And now we're gonna discuss it. The final chapter in the Code Realize franchise currently, which is sad to say.
It is. I don't want it to go away. I really like it. It's still my favorite Atome series
It's
by
it,
far.
it's how they say a goodin.
It's a good one.
If you are listening to this and this is your first exposure to Code Realize, I would implore you to pause this podcast, go back and listen to, I guess it would be the first time we talked about it, which was the first game.
Mm-hmm.
You could listen to that. You could listen to the our podcast on the anime adaptation,
Mm-hmm.
and then you could go listen to our podcast on the second fan disc, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
come back to this.
Yes, and you will have the entirety of the Code Realize lore at your disposal.
All the lore.
All the lore.
So this is a weird. Not really weird, but kind of a stranger fan disc, I guess, from the first one, because we are taking things from the first fan disc, incorporating them into this, and kind of making them more canon, while also incorporating new stories as well.
Yeah, it was odd because I texted you like I think it was yesterday, which I'd been playing it
Yeah.
for a while since it came out last Thursday. I was like, so it seems like they're taking this route from Fandis 2 and making it more canon. You're like, yeah, seems so. And like it's bizarre, but it's kind of cool because that route's really neat.
It works in a way. Like, it's not to say like this is a bad decision. It's just kind
Yeah.
of strange because they do something similar in the first fan disc, obviously, where they have like new stories for the five main dudes, and then in this one they kind of just like they do that again, but they're going off of a route from the first fan disc instead of kind of continuing on from what they had done already in the first fan disc. It's confusing, but also makes sense if you're following along.
I can imagine it would be a little weird.
Which when you get into Atome stuff, that can really get out of hand very quickly.
Yes, it can. Atome is wild.
Yes, there is no doubt about that. So one of the first things you can do in this is that like they have this new triangle date function,
feature
which
where you can go on dates with two people at the same time.
Yeah, that I feel like that was kind of the weakest part of this.
It was by far the weakest part of this.
Like there's some fun moments in here, but like overall it just felt bizarre to
It was very weird.
include. Like the only good things was like there's hidden stuff in there, and like one of them is just like Dracchon talking about how he has to leave and gets real sad, and then Cece runs away, and he's like, "Oh God!"
I wanted to say bye to Cece before I had to leave.
And then Cece's like, "Oh, Bork Bork, let me introduce you to my lady." And everyone's like, "Whoa!"
What? You got a girlfriend?
That was really good.
It was cute. I'm still mad that they won't let me date Watson.
Look, he is very devoted to his wife, his ghost wife.
His ghost wife.
At this point now.
He's very, very devoted. Although that was funny because you had like Hansel, which I was very not expecting those two to be interacting, but Watson just full on goes like dad mode on you and is like, "Son, no, what are you doing? You got to keep her purity intact."
I feel like Hansel has like the most interesting development from the first fan disc to this one, because in that first fan disc he's like very much a threat.
Yeah.
And then in this one, he's just like, "Hey, I really love sweets, and like, if you will take me to eat sweets, I'm in your debt. Like, let's hang out and eat some sweets."
Sweet lover. It's hilarious.
And now he's Finn's best friend, in his eyes only.
In his eyes only, Finnis is like, "I hate this guy so much." But I mean, it makes sense because like Hansel's entire story is about like the candy house. So
yeah, it's just like, you know, if you compare these two games and just like where the character goes, it's like it's wild.
It's wild, yes. Like you really think that he's going to be like a brutal savage person, and then he's like, "Hey, can I have a muffin? That'd be cool. What about a donut? Can I have some candy?" Which, like, God, I relate. I just always want sweets. And people also can't stand me.
Well, that's their own mistake.
I don't even remember what the third like hidden one was.
Wasn't it Alistair?
Oh yeah, that was weird. It was Nemo and Alistair. It's the first time you see Nemo without his weird glasses, and she's like, "Oh God, he's hot."
And he's like,
"Which like
he's like, what? What are you looking at me for?"
And she's like, "Oh God, never mind."
What's wrong with my face? I want to talk about science.
Once he opens his mouth, she's like, "Never mind, you are no longer hot." I have regrets. It was very, very funny. But yeah, the triangle dates were odd. I don't know, like, why Code Realize decided, like, "Hey, you know what we need for the third disc? Threesomes." Like, I don't know about that.
We gotta fill content for this thing.
There was the part about, like, Saint Germain basically, like, trolling Victor because he thought that Victor was a cross-dresser.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Kept bringing it up, like, you know, whatever your interests are, man. Like, you know, just
He's
keep
like,
it
no,
to
no, no, no,
yourself.
no, 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 no.
No, it's fine. Maybe this dress would look nice on you when they're at the boutique. I think that's one of my favorite parts about like Saint Germain's character development is he's just such a troll.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's constantly trolling people. It's great. It's so funny because he's actually like the most dangerous person of the entire crew, and like very serious in his plot lines, and like could definitely murder you in 2 seconds. But instead he's like, "How about a troll?"
And then like in this fan disc, like a lot of it as well is him getting trolled.
That's true too.
Which is real good.
Yeah, it's very, very good. So there are good moments for sure.
So other than that, there is 5 Christmas dates with the main dudes again.
Mm-hmm.
Those all go off of the end of Finis's route from the first fan disc, so a continuation of that, and basically it's like, hey, Christmas is here, and here's what's happening. Yeah, we're gonna recap all of Code Realize before you get into this every single time.
Every single time. That was so irritating. I'm like, can I not skip this? God, like, please stop. But in case you missed it, or if you don't feel like going back to the other podcasts, the Finniss route ends with them basically like moving back into their family house in Wales, to be a family again. And so this is set after that, where everybody else is like going their separate ways or is still in London and they're hanging out in Wales. And then first Christmas comes along, and man, we got to do some romantic for Christmas, right?
It's exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's what it's there for.
Is it?
Yep.
Although we did get like a whole explanation of like what Christmas is.
Did you know Christmas is a Christian holiday?
A Christian holiday. Talks about the birth of Jesus Christ.
So each dude has like their own little spin on things.
We have to talk about Lupin's with the Santa suit and the reindeer outfit.
Real good.
We have to talk about that.
I did St. Germain's first because I always want to see what weird and just bonkers stuff they get up to with a wealthy landowner.
He's your favorite boy.
That one was fun because like it is literally St. Germain going through a midlife crisis.
It really is. It's so funny. Like, I didn't expect that.
No.
Because
like he like at the very beginning he gets summoned by Omnibus and Idea, and she's like, yeah, you kind of prevented things from happening. That's real weird. I don't know. You want to go take a break or something? I don't know. Let's go take a break.
Vacation time.
And he's like, okay. I don't know what to do with that, but all right. And basically it's like him cleaning the mansion a lot, him seeing Cardia's ghost.
Yeah, whoa, that was weird.
That was weird. And then like he's just like, oh, dude, I don't know what I'm doing. I need to figure things out. And then he's like, oh, Christmas is coming up. What if I throw a party, get the gang back together? And I'm going to need some help decorating the mansion. So what if I call Guinevere and Hansel?
Hansel's like, yeah, man, give me sweets.
He's like, hey, you got sweets? I am totally down. Guinevere's like, why would you call us here to help you decorate? What are you doing?
I love that she takes off the armor, though, to do it. She's like, all right, I can't have this armor. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it seriously. It's wonderful.
It really is. That leads to like the day of the party coming, and like a big blizzard is happening, and like he's all sad because like no one's showing up.
And he's like, Cece, we have to clean the table because nobody's coming.
And then all of a sudden you hear like the helicopter showing up.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I guess they're coming. And then it just crashes into the house.
Into the house. Breaks through a window.
And he's like, what are you doing?
Like, Impy, Cardia, and Lupin all just like roll out of it like, whoops.
Hey.
Sorry about that. We're here.
We wanted to give you a good entrance.
Meanwhile, Drakchan Deli comes in and is like, dudes, what's going on here? And Van Helsing's like babysitting.
Well, it's Van Helsing and Drakchan come in and like, I think there's terrorists in here. We gotta make sure Saint Germain's okay.
Right. They do say it's terrorists. I forgot about that.
And they're like, no, it's fine. It's just us.
Been labeled terrorists before, but we're not real terrorists.
So that all happens. At one point, Saint Germain just kind of like leaves the mansion just to chill, and him and Cardia like have a chit chat, and then like Omnibus shows up, and she's like, "Ho ho ho ho! You did invite us to your party, but we have to talk about when you're coming back for your next mission. I mean, we never did say when your break was up." Ho 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 ho! No, I'm just with you. I just came for the party. What's up, dude?
Let's party, y'all.
Let's party. And they just roll in, and everyone's like, "What the? You guys are the main people behind the idea. What the is going on?"
Which I was yelling because she's in a wheelchair and he just has stairs. I'm like, how did she get in? And like what I'm imagining, because you said she's magic that she could float, is just like Guinevere and Hansel on each side, like carrying her up the steps.
I mean, I would just imagine it's just Guinevere just like.
Yeah, she could probably just one arm it, honestly.
Hansel's just like already just like at the snacks table. He can't be bothered.
Sweets, yes.
So yeah, that whole route is just real good. It's
It's
real
very
good.
funny. It's very, very funny. I love when they show up and they're like, "Oh, we didn't say how long the break was.
It's just them trolling him.
Just we wanted a party. You did invite us, you know." Oh, it's so good.
It's real good.
Uh, I did Van Helsing's first because I hate him.
The only good parts of that were just all of the Drakchon in it.
Yes, that's the only good part about any of his routes is that you get more interaction with Drakchon. Because he's essentially become like his surrogate, like dad.
Yeah.
He's just adopted this vampire child. And it's great. Which, like, he says a few times in the routes, like, he feels like he has a little brother. But he's kind of like a weird parent. Very terrible parent. I cannot stand Van Helsing at all.
He's a trash boy.
He's just so annoying. And he's so possessive. Like, every single route he ever does, he's like, "You're mine. I don't want other people looking at you. Like, I don't want your back exposed. Other people can see your skin." And I'm like, dude.
Bruh.
Calm down, dude. It's not that serious. Also, it's not your skin. It's mine. Like, I can determine how much skin I want to show, and you can calm down, buddy.
Is this the one where Drakchon gets drunk off the atmosphere?
That's so funny.
And he's like, "I thought I boiled out all the alcohol in it," and it cuts to finish. And he's just like crossed arms, like, "This kid's just drunk off the atmosphere."
Yeah. Which, like, Drakchon's over there like slurring his speech. And he's like, I don't know how to do it. It's really good. Really, really good. I don't actually remember much of what Van Helsing actually does in this route.
I don't either. I kind of skipped through it, honestly.
Yeah, it was he's boring and terrible and also very possessive. But I did his route first. Like, so I did the triangle dates and then I started with his route because I wanted to get it over with. But then I was texting you the whole time, like, God, when does it end?
You're like, this never ends.
I was so mad. I hate him. I always do his routes like first now so I can get it out of the way because I don't want to deal with him.
Victor's is like him just being big energy.
Big energy. You're gonna have to explain that one to me.
Well, because his whole route is him just being like, "Yeah, you know, I'm a doctor. Oh, my parents wrote me. They're like, oh, you should hook up with someone." And I was like, "Oh, you know, I met this girl. It's cool. Oh God, they want to meet her. Oh God, they're coming. Oh God. Oh God."
Okay, yeah, I could see that. So,
oh, excuse me. It's not oh God.
It's in a bit more explanatory terms. So Victor has been writing his mom in Switzerland fairly regularly after he got declared not a terrorist so that he could make his mom feel better. Which is very nice of him. What a nice boy.
Not a terrorist, doctor to the mafia, and has CC.
Yes. What a good boy. I picked properly, honestly. But his mom's like, "So, have you settled down yet?" And he's like, you know, I haven't met anybody, but I have met somebody. I could just write about her." And he's like, "She is so cute. I like being around her. She is awesome. I have never met anybody like Cardia. I love her. Oh wait, I didn't mean that. She's my best friend."
JK LOL.
And of course, when you send your mom a letter like that, they're like, "Oh, you have a lady friend, don't you?" So
it's a very Swiss accent there.
Yeah, I don't know what accent that was. So she's like, "So we can meet her, right?" And then they do the whole fake dating trope, which is great. Like, give me this fanfic trope, please. And Cardi's like at him because he's like, "But it's only fake dating. We don't have to really date." And she's like, "Victor, I hate you so much right now."
He's like, What?
So she agrees to fake date him, as long as they can practice for a few days beforehand. So they practice and go on dates and things like that. And the best part is that like they go to announce it to the
Yes.
friends, and they're all like,
Yes.
"Oh yeah,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right,
Okay.
cool.
Cool. What? That's that.
We
Yeah.
kind of knew
Yeah.
that."
He's like, what do you mean? What? You guys supposed to be surprised? What?
What? Which of course leads into the reveal of, I don't want this to be pretend anymore. I actually care about you. Yeah. And then you get to meet his parents at the train station, and it's really cute. And also you get like heckin' smooched. It's awesome.
Heckin' smooched.
Heckin' smooched. I always want to be heckin' smooched by Victor Frankenstein. This Victor Frankenstein, not the like actual canon Victor Frankenstein. He sucks. This one's great. He is a soft and nerdy science boy, and I love everything about him, even if he does have energy sometimes. But hey, we get to meet his mom.
Yeah.
And his dad, which he basically is like, he looks like his dad, but he has his mom's hair color. Also, you don't actually see them. You just see kind of like profile of them. It's a good route.
Yeah.
It made me very happy. Heckin' smooch.
MPs is just finished just finding any way possible he can to just talk about MP.
It's real good.
At one point, MP sends them a doll of him that has a voice recording in it. He's like, "Oh, that's a cursed doll. We should burn it."
We should burn it immediately.
Cardi's like, "No, don't do that."
It's so funny because he's originally like, "Yes, we have to burn this," and then she's like, "No, we'll listen to it." And then as they listen to it, there's no.
Yep, it's definitely cursed.
Definitely cursed. I'm trying to remember. Shoot, it wasn't this route. Was it this route? There was a route that I accidentally like was trying to text you a picture of Impy like hitting on somebody, and I sent it to my mom instead.
I don't remember.
I don't remember which route that was, but I still have the picture of my phone. It's hilarious. But yeah, definitely missent that to my mom. She's like, "What?" But also, my mom knows me by now, and she's
like, "Yeah, that's Al.
That's Al. Whatever's going on there." But yeah, so Impy is like, "Hey, you should come visit." I'm pretty sure.
And and she's like, "Okay." He spends the entire day like making this huge feast, and then like a blizzard comes and no one shows up till like real late. He's like, "Ah," and then like he goes like rides the helicopter all the way to like this train and like it shows up. And Finnis is just like,
God, I love that Finnis is just like raging the entire game.
He's so sassy.
He's so sassy, and it's beautiful. Like, God, I love how sassy he is. How do I get that level of sassy?
Well, you have to be like you have to create a bunch of dolls of yourself. Use them to like be like a terrorist leader, apparently.
Make weird buns on your head.
Make weird buns on your head. Wear a tiny hat.
Tiny hat.
Hang out with Moriarty.
Have some blue eyebrows.
That just show through your hair.
Yeah, somehow.
There you go.
I was going through my screenshots so that I could talk about something, and I found the Finnis one of him saying that he brought down some of the nice tea, the blend that they don't serve Hansel. It's like, God, he's such a sass machine. Anyway, so Impy's route irritated me. Like, it was cute in a way, but it was also irritating.
How so?
Because Impy is very open about his admiration and love of Cardia.
Mm-hmm.
And in his route, she goes to him and is like, "I need you to tell me that you love me. Because it's different when Finnis says it to me." Which, like,
That part's
thank
real
God.
good.
Thank God that Atome in this version of Atome is like, you know what? We're not going to have the siblings date. Like, she blatantly says multiple times, like, no, I don't feel that way about my brother. I'm like, all right, good. That's how it should be.
The best part about that though is she goes to like, hey, tell me that you love me. He's like, what? Why? And then he does it, and she's like, yeah, this doesn't feel right. He's like, okay, now I've definitely confirmed that I completely hate you.
Yeah. He's like, man, you suck. But yeah, she goes to Impy and is like, tell me that you love me. And he's like, I gotta go see Nemo in prison.
Yeah, I get this.
Take him some cake.
I get where you're going.
Yeah, and then like the rest of his route is him just like avoiding telling her that he has any affection for her. And
which is the complete
like,
opposite of him.
Yeah, it's very opposite of his personality. And like he does say at the end, like, I was trying to make it special. I realized I've used it too much, but I hate that logic.
Mm-hmm.
I've always personally hated that idea that like the more that you say it, the less that it matters.
Yeah.
I think it's dumb. I think like if you love somebody, just tell them all the time.
Yeah.
Whether that's like platonic or like I tell my mom all the time. I text her. I'm like, Mom, I love you. And that doesn't mean like if I text my mom I love her twice in the same day, like that second time means less. And like exponentially. Right, exponentially, it's just like, well, that love just keeps going down and down. Like, that's not how it works. And so that whole, like, idea really bugs me. And it's a thing that I've been told multiple times by, like, dudes in my life. So I'm like, like, I don't like that idea. And it doesn't feel very impy.
Yeah.
Like, the fireworks and the Crystal Palace and all that felt very impy. Like, very impy. But him like holding back on the love thing was very not impy.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yay. Dude, are you chugging water? What is going on over there? To answer my question, he is chugging water.
He's got the thirst.
Max, you got the thirst, buddy?
He's got the Atome thirst.
Oh my god, same. So who should we talk about next?
Well, that leaves Lupin.
Lupin,
He's the only one left.
Yes.
Out of this 5.
Yes. We get to talk about the Santa and the reindeer.
So his is basically just like him being all sad, and then he's like, well, I'm gonna write Cardia and be like, hey, come hang out.
Which first he writes like a gentleman thief, like letter of intent to burgle.
He's like, what am I doing?
God, I can write these so perfectly, but I can't write a letter. And then like the second time he writes one, he's like, what is this teenage angst? Not in those words, obviously. But he has not gotten a letter from Cardia in a while, which is concerning for him.
Even after he sent like a second one, just in case the first one didn't get mailed.
Yep. And so he's like, maybe Cardia hates me. That's wild.
And Cardia's on the other side like, well, I wrote back to them and no one answered, so that's real weird.
Guess I'm staying in Wales. So the party is gonna happen. And she's still not there. So he just takes it upon himself. He's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go get her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he brings Cecile, because of course.
Yeah. He shows up at her window in a Santa suit with Cece in a reindeer outfit.
Real
it's
good.
The cutest CG. I love it. I love Cece in the reindeer outfit. And then like immediately the text says that he removes the reindeer outfit from Cece. I'm like, no! No. That was cute. Which I kind of wish that it had not had him remove the Santa suit as well, because can you imagine him wearing the Santa suit talking to you in that entire scenario? That would have been hilarious.
It would have been real good.
Real funny, because he had like a fake beard pulled down. It was great. And she's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, it's Christmas and I'm Santa. And also you didn't respond to any of my letters.
She's like, well, you didn't respond to any of my letters.
And so they're like, Finis.
He's like,
what'd you do?
Gotta go.
Like, I didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. What are you talking about? I didn't keep your mail from you.
His whole plan behind this was that Impy was sending too much mail, so he was gonna just give it all to her in a bulk. And apparently Lupin's letters got kind of mixed in with those, so that's why they never got delivered. Eventually they all go back to the mansion, and then Lupin's like, why didn't her letters show up? And they're like, I think it's like Saint Germain and Victor are like,
Victor.
Yeah, we kept them because you're too much of a to realize your feelings for her.
Yep. And so it's like this whole thing of like, it took you guys not getting letters from each other to realize that you actually like have feelings for each other. You guys suck. What is going on?
I would like to offer up this as big energy.
No kidding. This might be like an even higher level of big energy, though.
I think so.
Because like Victor's was genuinely like him trying to make his mom feel better, and like he was really saying what he felt. And this one, they're like, man, I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't do very well on my burglaries recently. I fell off a roof. Things kind of suck. I don't know what's wrong. What is going on? Oh, right. I guess I kind of like this girl.
Everyone else around him is just like face palming, like, "Oh my god, this idiot!
Oh my god, this idiot!
What is he doing?"
Which, like, he even says when he falls off the roof, like before he gets shot with a rubber bullet. He says cardia and like goes to protect her, and it's like, you idiot, you don't realize that that's the issue? Like, come on, buddy, you're smarter than this. But no, he's just an idiot.
Big energy.
Big energy.
And then they have Christmas and yada yada yada.
Yeah, Christmas.
That's basically the Christmas dates portion of these. There's 3 other little stories. One of them is in a new original story. The other 2 follow up some stuff from the first fan disc. I thought the Herlog Cholmay route just was not good.
I didn't like it.
It was not fun to go through.
I don't know. How's the best way to explain why this is?
I don't know. It was just boring, I think.
It was boring. So, Cholmay's route is one of the only ones that you come out of the second fan disc, and she's still poisoned.
Yeah.
And so for one, I got irritated. Like, sometimes Otome games do like weird sexist stuff that I'm like, please don't. One of them was like, he refused to acknowledge her at one point until she said, "I'm home."
Yeah, I was like,
And I'm like, buddy, what are you doing? That's a big no. I would just walk my ass out. Be like, all right, bye. I'm not home. This is why they should let us date Watson. He's way nicer than you. Even if he does have a wife, a ghost wife.
I mean, the only good thing about this route is at the beginning when you see Lupin and Impy break into this place, and Cholmay and Watson and Cardia are waiting for him, and then Impy deploys all these like balloon decoys of himself
with different facial expressions.
It's real good.
That part was amazing,
but it's all downhill from there.
Yeah, it really upset me because I'm like, man, Cardi is like legit going against her team. That's so not okay. So that felt bad. The Impy balloons were great. After they popped, everybody was like, man, this is like a hellscape to have all these popped Impy balloons.
I kind of feel like as well, just like having to go through the entire, well, we gotta get her unpoisoned spiel again was just like retreading old threads. Like, we've gone through this song and dance like twice now through like 2 completely different games, and just have it come up again. I'm just like, we've kind of gone through this.
Although we did learn that Nemo is the inventor of
He's the inventor of
cardboard.
cardboard. Yes.
He lives in a cardboard house in the sewers, as you do. Um, but it was kind of a weird thing to like involve him with it. But they're like, we have to kill you in order to like make this go inert, and then it's just like them making out for a while. I'm like,
And he
I'm
gets
bored.
this weird like little like poison thing from a certain camouflage character, which we'll talk about
Oh my
in the
god.
original story for this. So
Yes.
there's that.
We'll have to talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
But he does get the poison thing that can eventually be used to like
Unpoison.
Semi
Poison that can counteract
semi-death.
poison.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. But yeah, basically like the entire thing is like, hey, let's unpoison her so that he can make out with her, which like that was a lot of the first games thing.
Yeah.
And some of the second one too, but it was just, I don't know, it wasn't done as well as any of the other guys getting her unpoisoned, and it really just felt like the only thing that you wanted was to make out with her. Like as opposed to like actually having a relationship with her. Because that's all he wanted to do. And she woke up was like, let's make out. I'm like, dude, she's been asleep for a whole year. Like, let her stretch her legs, let her brush her teeth, maybe take a bath or something. I don't know. Like, you don't have to make out with her right immediately.
Let me stick my tongue down your throat when you got like a year-long morning breath.
And not even that, just like she legit just opened her eyes, buddy. Like, let her orient herself a bit before you're like, hey, you want to make out? That'd be cool. So I don't know. It wasn't a very fun route.
I would have enjoyed it better if they just replaced this route with more shenanigans with the Mafia family, because I feel like they really got the short end of the stick in this fan disc, because
they did.
Coming out of that first fan disc, they were like my favorite characters, like new characters that were introduced in that. And then like they just barely show up in this, and it's real disappointing.
I did get very happy whenever they did show up.
Yeah,
though, because
same.
the interactions were great. Like the one time that they tried to turn Darius's hand into like a Barrett arm was hilarious. They're like, what if we attached a grenade launcher to it? That'd be cool, right? And then somebody suggests like, well, what if you have a hand that can give flowers to your daughter? And he's like, that's an idea. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
It's so good. So I was very excited whenever they showed up. But yeah, they did kind of get the short end of the stick, and I would have liked a lot more of them rather than like Shulmei make out route. Yeah, with gross sexism involved. Or just, let me date Watson. That'd be cool.
He's got a wife.
She's a ghost wife.
He's got a wife.
Ghost wife.
He's got a wife.
Which, speaking of Watson, it is canon that Finis reads the Sherlock Holmes books that Watson writes.
Yep,
that is canon.
Also, Jane Austen exists in this universe.
Yes.
Which okay. Let's put our thinking caps on here for a second.
Okay.
If we are incorporating like real world literature into this world, like, the Sherlock Holmes books exist, Jane Austen exists, would it not also be possible that the Shelleys exist?
Whoa.
Mary Shelley writes Frankenstein, but it's about this Victor Frankenstein.
I don't know. I mean, because this takes place in like the 1850s. And Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein in 1818. So what could potentially happen is that maybe it's based off of like his grandpa.
And then his family just ribs him by naming him Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah. I mean, it could work. Well, because I was going to say his dad, but his dad seemed very nice and not douchey. And also, like, people didn't live as long back then, so.
All I'm saying is that we should get a Code Realized prequel, but it is our romanticism dating game that we've been talking about making for like a couple years now.
That's legit. Like I've been reading please people who I work with don't pay attention to this. I've been reading a lot about the like romantic period authors at work lately for some reason.
It's
Partially because
good.
I learned well, yeah, and I love them. I think they're really fascinating people, even if they suck. Like not suck in terms of their writing. They suck as in they're terrible
Oh
people
yeah.
sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like they're kind of garbage people, but they're fascinating to me. And like I was on Twitter the other day and I was reading about like how Mary Shelley has like the most goth energy of the world because she lost her virginity on her mom's like
She
tombstone or
on her mom's grave.
she did, and I'm like, holy shit. She like her first love, she confesses to him at her mom's grave, then bonks him on it. I'm like, man, that's some real good energy there. So then I've just been reading about them like nonstop. Because you know this, and some other people that listen to this may know this, but like both of us are really big about like the romantic era. Like we think they're fascinating people, and like the writing's pretty cool. I just really want a romantic era Atome, and like you could date lots of people.
You could.
I mean, Byron goes both ways. So if you want like
Totally.
a male protagonist, I mean, like maybe we can not make them teenage boys. That'd be kind of cool. Even though that was his preference.
I mean, though, you run the risk though with them that like, oh, I'm in my 20s, but I'm about to die in a year.
Yeah, that's true. Because like Percy was like what 28 when he died, something like that.
All three of like Byron, Shelley, and Keats were all like real young when they died because they lived that rock star life.
Is that the way you want to?
Well, I mean, like if you think about it,
I mean,
they were
really were
legitimately rock stars. Yeah.
Yeah, they were the equivalent of that at the time. Like they were like in insane amount of debt. Always just like doing the craziest shit, banging anybody that interested them, period. And I mean, Shelley is like, you know what I'm gonna do? Build a boat. I'm gonna go out on it. It's gonna be awesome. And then he died.
I mean, you could also think like Byron is like part rock star, part hip hop star. Because, you know, he lives that rock star life, but also his works, he's literally just writing diss tracks in them. The preface to Don Juan is him being like, Wordsworth sucks, man. Let me tell you about this piece of what a coward he is. And it's great.
What we're saying to Atome Factory is please make a romantic era Atome game.
Be real good.
It would be fantastic. And I'd be about that life. And if you guys don't make it, we're going to. And we're going to make a metric butt ton of money.
I feel like we just do it, but like we fuddle with the ages. So like you could date like Wordsworth, Coolidge, or Coleridge, and like you could also date William Blake, and William Blake just shows up naked all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't put William Blake in there, then it's a tragedy, honestly.
That's all he does. He's like, he just shows up naked. And everyone's like, dude, come on, what are you doing?
Come on, man.
He's like, what? This is my life.
Yeah, I mean, you could totally fudge ages and have some like fantastic people in there. That'd be awesome.
It really would.
I'm about this. Why aren't we doing this?
That's a great question.
Anyway, we should go to real lives. But yeah, I'm gonna go off the idea that she did write Victor Frankenstein, and it is based off of this Victor Frankenstein's grandpa.
All right, I'll take that.
All right, canon. It's accepted. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I'm just an awkward human being.
You're a good human being.
So we had a finished route and a new route as well.
I feel like I don't remember what happens in the finished route anymore. Other than it's just like them figuring out how to live as a family.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah. I mean, it had some nice sassy moments, but overall it's just like them trying to figure out how to be siblings again.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it was good.
The new route is supposed like it takes place during the events of the first game, correct?
Correct. Because she's still poisoned.
And then like post the mafia story, I think.
Yes, because they are there.
So basically, this whole thing takes place around like the singer. Her name is Cantarella. She's got an eye patch, and she's a very famous singer. And then this one dude in a mask shows up and is like, "Hey, I want you to sing in my castle. That'd be real rad." And she's like, "No."
It's just like, who are you? What
Nah,
are you
dog.
talking about?
I'm good.
So Cardia like saves the day and jumps in between them. Which one thing that I thought was interesting about this like first introduction part is that Cardia goes in to save her, and Cardia is like, "You're hurting her by grabbing her arm." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it." He like gets genuinely upset, and like that comes up later in this route, which I wasn't expecting, but he was upset that he was hurting her. So like that was kind of neat, I guess. But he's basically like mask to mask from Ace Attorney.
He really is.
Like I brought that up and you're like, "Oh."
Like yeah, totally. 100%. Cuz like it totally like even when we get like later on into it, like it fits that character archetype.
Yeah, it does.
100%.
Totally does.
So yeah, they save this girl. They take her back to her house, which is like real run down, and they're like, "This is weird. You're like a famous singer. Like you should be like raking in the money,
rolling in cash."
And then like her,
which she does say like beforehand, like, "Please don't judge me when we go to my house."
Her quote unquote father, air quotes around there, Miles Strand, shows up, and he just looks like a very skeevy dude, and they're all like,
Yeah, he's got like a cape and a cane. And
a floral vest.
Yeah, he's fancy. And I saw him and I'm like, that's not her dad. He's too young to be her dad. It's not her dad.
So there's a twist that's going to come up in this route, which we'll talk about here in a hot second. When did you realize the twist with Cantarella?
It was relatively early actually. Because somebody makes like a passing reference on like the similarities.
Okay.
And I don't remember who it is, but it's fairly early. Like, "Oh, you guys could be sisters or something." And I'm like, "Oh."
So I think I found it like immediately.
Really?
Like when she was having that first encounter with the Baron, I was looking at her and I was like, her face shape is very much the same as Karya. Her eye color is the exact same. And like if you do the hair,
and we've seen that hair color.
Like I didn't do the hair color, but I was like, if you do the hair similarly enough, like it could. She's a clone, or she's one of the dolls.
She's one of the like thrown away dolls.
I was like, she's one of those. Immediately.
But then I texted you, and I was like, her hair color is the same as what Cardia does the Code Realize event in the first one. Is it turns like that white color?
It does, yeah.
But yeah, I figured it out pretty quick. Probably not as quickly as you did, but I was like, oh yeah, she's one of the like failed Cardias.
So yeah, like they do that. They learn about how Miles is bad
with
money.
Miles is a gambler.
He's a gambler. He was born a gambling man.
Oh my god. Yeah, no one to hold him. No one to follow him. Or you gotta play the gambling game in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure over and over and over again.
He at some point he mentions he has a little brother, which becomes a hot topic of debate. Between us.
He mentions it a few times.
Quite a number of times where he's like, oh, this is going to be important.
Yeah, like we kept saying, okay, like he keeps mentioning it. I wonder who his brother is. And like I kept putting up candidates, and I think I finally like I've decided on one. But he keeps bringing it up, and the game doesn't actually tell you who it is.
Nope. It's real rotten. Also, these three characters have like just ridiculous voice talent.
Oh yeah.
It's real good. The Baron is voiced by the dude who plays Sasuke in Naruto, so I'm just like, I can't get away. Can't get away.
You cannot get away.
Cantarella is the voice of Fuka in P3, and I think someone else I forget. But yeah,
Fuka the Bazooka.
Fuka the Bazooka. And then Miles is like, he is AC/DC and JoJo, and I believe also that Final Fantasy looking in Final Fantasy 15.
Correct, you did mention that. Oh,
that guy. So we learn also that Contrail is like sick. She has some like illness that she has to take medicine for, all that sort of stuff. All this is gonna come up. Some time passes. Cardia's like, I'm gonna go hang out with her, and you get like all these
let's
options
be friends
to do something. And then like each time the Baron shows up in just like the most ridiculous ways possible. Each time.
Yep.
It's real good. But each time he also like is like, hey, sorry about hurting you the other day. Kind of didn't mean to do that. That was my bad.
Yeah, like he legitimately is remorseful about that, and like make sure that she knows that he's remorseful.
But hey, sing for me.
Like, yeah, but she's always like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, she legit gives zero.
No.
Like he keeps coming up. She's like, all right, you're here again, really?
Oh, great.
Really?
Great.
Cool. Hey, buddy, do you remember my name?
It's like, also, they make mention of this like fairy tale that's going to become very important.
Very important. Once they brought that up, I'm like, well, that's the story of this one.
Yeah. Which is like about a prince and princess, and the prince has bad legs and he can't move. The princess wants him to be able to move, and she makes a deal with like a wizard. The wizard's like, I'll make a castle move, and then you can go anywhere. And then,
and you have to sing to make it move.
Yes.
So it was because of his bad legs, they needed a castle with legs so that they could travel.
Mm-hmm.
He could see the sights.
Along the way, we learned that Miles has worked in the past with Twilight.
He was like second in command.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And is kind of being sort of blackmailed by them, like because they are supplying the medicine to him, and he was going to like he's helping them out in different ways, mostly financial ways.
Also his best friend, or I think he says like my closest friend or something like that. I forgot how he worded it. The guy who raised Lupin. Who was in Twilight and left. And I actually forgot that he was in Twilight from the second fan disc. I don't remember if it was the second fan disc or the first actual game, but he was in Twilight. It was the first actual game, and quit because of the like terrible things that he saw.
Which you understand here, like what he sees, and he's like, nope, I'm good.
Nope, done. So they were super biffles, and somebody mentions like early in this route, like he moves the same way as you, Lupin. It's like he's used to getting away.
Which I thought that was gonna like be the thing where like, oh, he like Lupin was the younger brother.
Yeah.
But
no.
No.
But he does say at one point, like, you inherited those abilities, which is true. He did, because he was taught those by his surrogate dad. But it was kind of an odd thing that they're like, all right, cool, you move the same way.
That's weird.
Which they kind of made it seem like it was going to be like because he's a shady dude who like is a gambler, that he's always trying to get debts, but that's not at all the case.
At one point, Contrarella collapses during performance, and they're all like, "Oh no!" And they go to
this is bad.
They go to visit her one day, and no one's there, and then they find her medicine, quote unquote, and they have Victor test it. And he's like, "So this is kind of poison? Like, what the fuck's going on here?"
Which he also, when she collapses on stage, he like tries to feel her forehead, and he's like, "You're hotter than like any human should possibly be." He like burns himself.
Yeah, he's like, "You should be dead." What the
Yeah, yikes.
Miles comes back and is like, "You guys shouldn't be here. You guys shouldn't be here."
And he also refuses to have Victor do any kind of tests on her, because he's not a doctor, he's an alchemist.
Yeah. And like this is where he's like, "Yeah, this is why I didn't have you do any tests on her, because I knew you would find this and be like, yo, what the
Yeah.
And this is where he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm with Twilight. Hey."
Yay, finger guns.
And then it's like, oh, I was never a father to her. Ha ha ha! I was using her the whole time. And she's like, why? Because she wakes
Dad,
up. And then the
why?
Baron just like plows through their building and
Plows
is
through
like,
the roof.
yo, sup, you want to sing for me? And she's like, sure, why not?
Sure. My dad's just betrayed me.
I kind of
I'll
need to
go
get out
with
of here.
you.
And Cartier's like, I guess I'm coming too. Bye.
Whee! So they go to the castle, and he's like, "All right, so I need you to sing for me. That'd be cool."
She's still like, kind of like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
The Baron shows them his true form, which is just like a young dude who also doesn't have
Yeah, he's.
good working legs.
I'll say he has legs; they just don't work.
Yeah.
He's kind of like he's probably in his like late teens.
Yeah.
He has this like weird clown thing he hovers around on. Yeah, because his little Baron automaton like falls down, and like they're like, he doesn't have a face. That's weird. Which is why he was apologizing for the whole like hurting her thing, because his automaton, like, he didn't realize the pressure he was putting.
Because it was just a doll, so
important plot points.
Important plot points. So like,
but yeah, he's like, I really want to travel, and I heard this story, and I like tried when I was a child to find this castle because I saw it outside my window, and I took a cane, and I kept falling in the dirt on my face, and it hurt a lot, and then I finally found the castle, and this guy's like, oh, I didn't mean for anybody to see it, but if you want it, you can have it, you can inherit it.
He's like, yay!
Yay, moving castle, but it doesn't move.
I need a singer.
So his parents died, and he's been living there for a few years trying to find a singer.
Yeah, he has money basically, is how he's able to kind of like do that. But yeah, so eventually she agrees to sing. It starts the whole castle up and all that.
It's like a tank.
Yeah, and then Cantarella gets swallowed up by a hole.
Yep.
And then down there, she gets like all this like voices in her head, and that's where you realize that, oh, she is one of the failed Cartier experiments. And then kind of gets like warped into the castle, and everyone's like, "Oh, the castle's moving. This is real bad. We need to go and do stuff."
It's going to crash right into London.
This is real bad. So everyone kind of goes there and does their thing, and they get down to the depths of the castle and try to get Cantarella out of there. Miles just gets the kicked out of him through like gears getting thrown at him.
Yeah, he gets like a leg gouge and like stabbed through the shoulder. And
well, like if the first thing that happens with him is like he like tries to go to her, and like a gear just flies and just bashes him in the head.
Yeah, and he passes out and bleeds everywhere.
It just knocks him out, and Victor's like, "Hey, he's good. He's good. It's no skull fracture. He's good. He's just out. No worries here."
Why'd you give her a Brooklyn accent? I'm walking here.
I'm walking here. Watch out for gears.
Which eventually Miles does too. He's like, all right, I'm just going to keep walking at you. She's like, I'm going to keep throwing gears at you. It's going to hurt. And he's like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep doing it. It's fine. And so he finally gets to her, and he's like bloody as heck. And he's like, I'm your dad.
I'm going to sing for you.
Yes. He's a terrible singer.
But it calms her down and stops Castle before like London's about to like unleash artillery on it, and they're like, wow, it's a real good thing no one tried to shoot this thing, because this thing is like has no defenses. It is basically made of paper.
Yep. They're like, man, it's almost like somebody saw like a kid's dream and did some kind of wish fulfillment, and Cardi's like, oh, Dad. Oh, you.
Shucks.
So that's a thing. So Baron is like, he's decided he's gonna try and figure out his own two legs and make them work, even though it's real hard, and throws hissy fits a lot.
Cantarella basically gets healed.
Yeah, because the thing in her head, she had like a big metal thing behind her eye.
Yeah.
And basically like died after her freak out. Which we do find out that what happened with Miles and her is that Miles and Lupin's surrogate dad like went into the like doll factory, basically Isaac's laboratory, and they're just like horrified at what they see, and like they keep having to dispose of the bodies over and over and over. And at one point when they're in there trying to get like secret documents, basically, this girl, and he says that she has like the one pretty green eye and then one eye with like the whites are black.
Yeah.
And she asks like to please help, and
he's like, well, I gotta save her. None of these other have like responded out or called out or anything, and like
they don't have their own thoughts.
Yeah, so like clearly I have to do something about that.
So he adopts her, and like there's this whole thing about like, oh, you know, you're gonna have a wife, and so he gets his daughter, and they're a loving family, I guess. You know, after the whole like I don't care about being your dad thing, that's a little.
Sorry, I was making an acting job so the Twilight people wouldn't beat me up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to beat up
anyway by Gears.
But you beat me up.
I have two things that I have to mention. One, they never address the little brother.
No.
There's the Flash and the Sholmes route, Sholme route that
where
we both agree it's him.
It's who he gets the concoction from in that route.
And he says something about like I have to help family or something like that.
And you can pretty much tell that like the silhouette that they use, because they very much show that silhouette when usually if it's some like unnamed character they don't show anything. So Correct. They go to the point of showing that silhouette, which is clearly him. So it's not like 100% confirmation that like, oh, those two are related, but it's the closest thing that we have between us that makes it seem like that would be it. But like you said, like the game never explicitly says like, oh, this is who he's talking about when he's saying that. So
no, but like a lot of it fits in the terms of like Sholme is definitely younger. Sholme is kind of like a celebrity in a sense, and Miles just say like you know he's got a good life and all. So it fits. It's just there's no official confirmation.
Right.
The other thing that I want to mention is that I remembered the Finis route because it has the fingernails.
Right, and also it has a giant enemy crab that you must attack its weak point for massive damage.
Massive damage, yes.
Like it just straight up turns into like a mecha anime at one point.
It does, and it's wild. And Finis and Hansel have to like team up as a buddy cop duo to take down the giant enemy crab. It's pretty great, especially because like Finis hates Hansel.
It's true.
But yeah, the fingernails thing killed me. I was like, but yeah, they have to go stop the giant enemy crab that their dad accidentally made go haywire.
Well, it wasn't him. It was like someone tinkering around with them, like accidentally set them off.
Yeah, but like his dad made it to, or their dad made it to the point that like these very dangerous giant crab things could potentially destroy London and try to kill Buckingham Palace. You know, as you do.
As you do.
But Finis is like, oh man, you know, I really hate killing one more dad's things, but I gotta do it.
Whoops.
Oh god, my fingers are bleeding.
My head's bleeding. I kind of fell from a copter onto this giant crab from like 50 feet up.
So that's the Finis route. I do remember now.
Yes.
Yeah, the new route's interesting. It's not as interesting to me as the Mafia one.
Right.
But it was cool. And I am very irritated that they never gave us like official confirmation on Miles and the brother.
It's bizarre. But
it's so bizarre.
Once you do all of that, you unlock the epilogues.
Epilogues.
Which is just like, here's a cap on these stories between the dudes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 3 weddings and then 2 other ones that are continuations of past weddings.
Yes. Because you get married in Van Helsing's, and he's like a really overprotective butt.
Shocker.
And some people mistake her for an actress in a play and like take her to the church, and she's like, I am not your wife, I am Van Helsing's wife. And then like dude jumps in and like starts throwing dudes out the window, and he's like, my wife. And everybody's like, bro, calm down.
Hashtag my wife.
It's a play. So anyway, they get married and he sucks still.
Saint Germain's is really goofy because it immediately starts with him being like, hey, I bought a boat. I bought a big boat.
It's the boat that we had in the mafia route.
It's that mafia dude's boat. We rebuilt it. And she's like, all right, cool. And he's like, we're getting married on it. He's like, all right, cool. So they have to like send wedding invitations out to everyone, and he's like, oh, I guess I should send these out to Idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
Eventually the wedding day comes and they're all like, yeah, well, everyone's coming, but we never got any responses from Idea. And then Hansel shows up. He's like, hey, come with me. We gotta go. We gotta go places. She's like, oh, okay, I guess. So they go to the Idea weird in between reality place, and Omnibus is like, ho ho ho, Saint Germain. Look at you trying to tie the knot. Then you thought that you could get away from me. Ho 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 ho. Now I'm just with you. It's real cool. I'm glad. I'm happy for you. We really can't come to the wedding. We got stuff to do. We're real busy. Stuff. But we just wanted to bring you here and give you our condolences or congratulations. Our condolences. Our congratulations. We're real proud of you. All of you Idea folks, you're like my family, and I'm real proud of you, buddy. They're like, oh, okay, thanks, guys, bye. Oh God, bye. Oh God.
Which it's interesting that he mentions, and it's not something that I'd actually expect. He's like, this is the first time that he's been married.
Yeah.
You would think, like, I keep thinking of like Lost Odyssey and how like Chaim was immortal and married many people and kept losing them. Like, I'm surprised Saint Germain didn't.
Maybe it was just because he was like so
shady.
Well, shady and just like dead set on like his work that he just. It's just one of those things where they just don't have time for it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just was kind of shocked that he's like, this is the first time I've been married. I'm like, boy, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, they get married on a boat. I'm on a boat. I think it's so funny that he's like, hey, yeah, you might recognize this boat. You're on it last year. I kind of renovated it. You want to take it on a spin after we get married?
This is our boat now.
He's so funny. She's like, isn't this expensive? He's like, yes, very.
Money, I don't care.
I've had an eternity to give money.
I have a lot of it saved up. Let me tell you, a savings account over hundreds of years, it accumulates.
I just spilled water on myself laughing at that.
MPs is him just being. Well, hang on, let's bring back our favorite term of this episode: big synergy.
Big synergy.
Because like,
oof.
He's like trying to figure some stuff out, and she's like, "Well, okay, well,
to go to the moon."
Yeah, and she's like, "Well, like, there's probably stuff at the old family house that like documents that might be able to help him out. So like, I'll just go take a trip there and see what I can find through there." And he gets back home to the mansion one day, and she's like left a letter for him, and she's like, I went back home.
I
went back to my parents' house. He's like, oh God.
I was gone too long.
Oh no, she's left me. Oh no. And he like rushes there, and like she's like chilling in her like where she used to like sit at the like the very beginning of the game, and she's just like, yeah, I'm just taking a rest. Me and Cece here is gonna chill, and she hears a noise like, wait a minute, what's that? And there's like options like, do you go punch that person, or do you try and like assess the situation? And then like he just busts through. I assessed the
Did
situation.
you assess it or okay? I did too. I was like, I wonder what the punch is like.
She probably punches him.
Probably.
He comes barreling through and like tackles her to the ground. It's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you. And she's like, what? Why are you so
What?
freaking out? Like, I'm fine. I was here to help you, you dummy. He's like, oh, oh,
Thought you were leaving me.
oh. That's my bad. It's my B.
Then he's like, hey, I saw a neat place on the way here though. You want to come with me?
Let's go stargazing. I'm gonna give you this ring that has no stone in it.
Well, there's a meteor shower, and so he's like, look at that meteor shower. This is neat. And I don't know why I did that as MP face, but I did.
Fits.
But she's like, cool, it's a wedding ring with no stone. What am I supposed to do with this? Like, is there a reason there's no stone? He's like, put your hand up to the moon. That's the stone. And I'm like, MP. Oh my God, buddy.
Very MP of him.
It's very MP, but also like, I feel like MP would be able to like afford the ring part. And then he's like, okay, I can't afford a stone. What do I? Oh, the moon. The moon is the stone.
I got it.
And then he says that once they get there, that they'll put a moon rock as her stone. So that was
good job, buddy.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing.
Victor's is like them two working together in a lab and them getting all close to each other, and then their assistants coming in like, hey, what's up, guys? Like,
hey.
Hey.
We weren't doing anything. Which initially he's like, hey, I'm going to come up behind you and put my hands on you. And she's like, please don't. That's embarrassing. And I was so mad because I'm like, girl, you got this cute science boy putting his hands on you. Like, come on. And then like they do try and kiss, and the researcher's like, hey.
What's up?
What do you call her? Hoodie at home? And basically are like, hey, maybe you guys should just act like you're married because we know you're married. I bet the wedding was real cute. And they're like, but we didn't have a wedding.
Whoops.
And so the whole plot is like how they didn't have a wedding and that Victor wants to give Cardia that. But apparently they decided they're going to get married in the middle of a season where everybody wants to get married.
Mm-hmm.
So they keep like asking all these churches, and the church is like, "Nah, man, we're booked. We can't marry. Can't marry you. What are you talking about?"
Which leads to Victor like giving a report to like Queen Victoria, and she's like, "You seem a little off. You know,
little down.
What's going on, buddy?" And he's like, oh, "Man, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to get married. I gotta find a church." He's like, the Twilight headquarters used to be a church. We could reopen that and use that, but you gotta give me some good ideas for this.
Convince me
about this. Meanwhile, like,
which
go ahead.
Leonhard asks if they're boning.
Y'all boning?
He asks if they're boning, and I'm like, I texted you. I'm like, is he asking if they're doing the do?
Doing the do.
And like I understand realistically, like my brain understands that historically, like a wedding or a marriage was not official until you like consummate it, and that's like why he's asking. But also like it's very awkward to be like, so you
hey, I'm the head of the knights. This really isn't my business, but you're rumbling up the sheets late at night.
and Victor's like awkwardly like, yeah, like it says that he's like awkwardly responds or shakes his head or like nods his head or something, and it's like, boy, okay. So for one, Victor has been like the number one dude for boning in this entire series. Like he is about that life and has been since the first game. And you realize he was the first one in like the first game to actually like get to the bone zone. I'm proud of him. He's very handsy and he knows what he wants. So them boning, no surprise. But also like weird that Leonhard would ask about it. Anyway, Queen Victoria's like, convince me that you love her.
At the same time, like Cardi is just like walking around, stumbles upon like a wedding and just sees it, and then just like catches the bouquet, and they're like, "Oh, you're getting married now." She's like, "Sure,
what?
Okay."
Victor comes by and he's like, "So what's with the bouquet?" Where'd you get that?
So they eventually get like the date and everything set up, and then like Cardi is getting the dress on, and Victoria walks in and is like, "Oh, hey, you're getting married."
He does the cute proposal first, though, and I love it. He proposed to her again. It's really cute. But yeah, then it's all like, hey, Victoria.
You're getting married.
It's happening like a week.
And she's like, yeah, you know, it's cool. Like he just kept coming home real late, and that's real weird. It's like, well, yeah, you know, he had to convince me so we could open this place up. Come on, I'm the queen. Like we can't just do this all willy nilly. I got stuff to do. I got a lot of like people to talk to about doing things like this. Come on.
It was real cool though. Like he really loves you. I can tell.
You got a good one there, kid. Good job. All right, I'm out of here. Good job on the.
Good job on the. I guess she would know since Leonardo.
She would know. She was right there.
Yep, right there. When Victor confirmed the Bone Zone party of two. Cece probably like shows up in the room every once in a while. I was like, "Hey guys, what are you doing?"
God. Please protect Cece from the Bone Zone.
It's what animals do. If you're in the Bone Zone, they're like, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing?" And you're like, "Hey, I love you, but maybe not right now. I'd still love you, but not right now." It's very awkward. I'm sure that happens. Cece is very excitable.
They get married. That's it. Yeah.
He looks real cute in his wedding attire. He's got like his hair slicked back. He's such a cutie pie. I love him. I just want to marry him. He's like the cute, soft science boy that wants to go to the Bone Zone all the time. Anyway, Lupin.
That leaves Lupin, who's like, all right, well, you know,
sad.
We're married already, so why don't we go to France and I'll take you to my my teacher's grave and we'll hang out, have a date.
What a good honeymoon.
What a good honeymoon.
We get to learn about Napoleon.
We do.
Yep. Yeah, it's so weird. She's like, so let's learn about. She like awkwardly asks about like, you know about my parents, but I want to know about your parents. He's like, I don't have parents.
They're kind of dead.
I have a dude that was like my dad basically, but like, I guess we'd go to France and like talk about him. So they go to France and like he takes her to like the shadiest part of France and like this house that's destroyed, and for some reason there's a tombstone in the house.
As you do.
As you do. And he's like, yeah, so this is my pops. He's
my
chilling
paps.
here. My pops. Thanks for teaching me how to be a thief. I am great at it. This is my wife and also my partner in crime, literally. And they just like chill by a tombstone for a bit. And then like some cops show up and they're like, we got him. We finally got him. Finally.
He showed back up. We got him this time.
And then they don't got him. He like jumps up on a roof.
I was kind of disappointed by this because I wanted a good CG of Lupin and Cardia dressed up together as Phantom Thieves.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
It would have been real good. But we don't get that.
No, we don't get that.
Which is a shame.
But he like jumps up on the roof and is like talking down to them as like in his very flashy way, and at the same time like Cardia basically like freezes their feet to the ground. And then they hop across roofs together as lovers do, I guess.
As you do on your honeymoon.
As you do on your honeymoon. And they're like, all right, let's go back to Britain. She's like, we were here a day.
Like, yep. Time's money.
Yep. Time's money.
I got places to rob, people to see.
Yep. So funny. His was sad though.
Yeah, like unexpectedly.
Yeah, it was kind of a downer. But also, why do you put a tombstone in the middle of a house?
I mean, where else are you gonna
Also,
put
where's
it?
the rest of the house?
Where else are you gonna?
I don't know. In a cemetery? That's usually where gravestones go. Unless there may be a reason.
He's a ghost.
I mean, yeah, he's a dead guy. Of course he's a ghost. No. no, maybe this may be like really overthinking things, but like that's what I do. It's my forte. Maybe he was considered like a heretic because of his profession and also the fact that he worked at Twilight. So maybe because it's France, like a Catholic cemetery wouldn't take him. So, and I doubt that a Protestant one would either. So they would have to find somewhere that was not like an actual like sacred ground to bury him.
I feel like that's entirely reasonable, and I believe your
And
reasoning behind it. But also, I feel like that is way over the top for an Atome.
I think I also put more thought into where they buried him than they did for this.
Absolutely.
They were just like, let's make him go to his old house, but also there is a tombstone there because we don't want to have to do 2 backgrounds.
Yes.
Or 2 CGs.
Yes.
But my reasoning is a good, plausible way of explaining that.
I agree.
Yay. Yay, heresy.
And then you get a bonus CG, and it's just beach day.
Beach day. My favorite is that you have Saint Germain like sunglasses down, shirt off, peace sign.
It's real good.
It's real funny. Victor's over there like building a sandcastle with Shirley and Jarkchan.
Mm-hmm.
Cardia just has like tiggle bitties all over the place. Lupin's just out, you know, as you do. I guess a lot of them are like that, but his is very blatant because he's in the center.
Beach day.
Which is funny that like he's in the center and Cardia's not. But you know, whatevs. But yeah, so that's I guess the wrap on Code Realize. Which is kind of a bummer.
It's true.
It's over now. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
We'll just have to maybe one day we'll be able to revisit these characters or something else.
Or maybe one day we'll make our romantic period Atome.
It's true. Maybe one day we'll finally do that after talking about it for years.
We just need somebody who's good at art. We can handle the writing. We can handle the characterization. We just need somebody to art. It's
true.
And also, like, you know, be able to make a game.
Also important.
A little bit important. I do want to say that it's been an issue with the games since the beginning, but I feel like it was a lot worse this time. That like there are a lot of typos.
Yeah.
A lot of typos, a lot of like text overflow.
There was that one thing where like when you unlock the epilogues where it's like it shows you the pictures of like all that happens and it's just Japanese text that they just did not translate. I was like, okay.
Yeah, and I didn't even actually try and translate it.
So that was a little bizarre.
Yeah, and I mean, I realized that like they don't have a huge budget.
Totally.
But like, it's a little.
It's not something that's going to like take away from your enjoyment of this, but like,
it's worth noting.
It's worth noting, and it is something that like you will notice.
Mm-hmm. It can also be funny sometimes.
True.
Man, I it's kind of like, you know, Christmas afternoon right now. I'm like, what do I do now that the Code Realize is over?
You sit and look at all your presents and like, okay, yay.
Somebody gift me an actual Victor Frankenstein, not the shitty one for the novel, but this version. Like the cute soft science boy, please. That'd be great.
It's gonna dig up a grave.
Kid thinks by. No, don't do that. No. That's a hard pass.
And I think as well, like we would both kind of agree this is the weakest of all the games thus far.
Yes, I would easily say it's the weakest.
Which isn't to say it's bad, but like it's just...
It's not to say it's bad. It's just not as strong as some of the other ones.
Right.
You know, you're talking about digging up graves. Did I ever tell you about the time that I dressed up as Vesalius in high school and
No.
pretended to be Vesalius all day?
Nope.
Yeah. So Vesalius is like the father of modern anatomy and had a real big habit of digging up bodies for anatomy.
Oh my God.
And so I just dressed up as him and acted out as if I were Vesalius all day. I didn't actually dig up bodies. I just talked about
Well, that's
it.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
My
I probably
God.
should clarify that since I tell people sometimes about my like affinity for cemetery. Like I do not dig up bodies. I just like cemeteries.
Oh my God.
Code Realize, man. It's real good.
It is.
I need more Victor Frankenstein in my life. I'm very upset that that pillow was so expensive and tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we do now? I guess we kill zombies to make it feel better.
It's true. Hang on. I'm getting word in my earpiece. The Resident Evil Choo Choo train is going to be departing very soon.
Yay!
So please, if you are not near the cars, please make your way to the train cars so you can reboard the train. But that's gonna do it for this episode of Atome.
Of Atome.
Of Atome.
I'll have to add this on
Oh
to the
yes,
official
we have to
Atome.
update the ranking of Atome.
The ranking. Oof.
So that's also very true. But if you'd like more from us, go to seasonalcheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts as well, such as the Seasonal Checkup and Jared Now Watch. You can find columns and reviews on the site as well. You can follow more from AnnLadium at AnnLadium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. It's where we do Twitter. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. I'm going to mention this now because this should go up by either the time this episode goes up or during the weekend. Sometime in March, we are renewing, I guess, a now annual tradition of enjoying the madness of March. Last year, we did the Persona 3 through 5 characters tournament where we narrowed those down from 64 to 1 and scientifically proved that Junpei was the greatest character of Persona 3 through 5. We are doing that again this year, but we are going through the catalog of Persona music, and that includes all the Persona games. We are not excluding any this time. All of them are accounted for and represented. We have made 64 entries. We have a bracket. So sometime this weekend, I will put that out there. I'll put it out on our Twitter, put the bracket out there so you can do your own predictions. You can fill out your own bracket and decide on your own, like, what's your favorite song from all the Persona series. And then in a few weeks, we will do that episode, and we'll basically fill in our official bracket, which will be the podcast itself, and we'll do that as we record, and then we'll see who has the closest prediction. Which it's not really, you don't have to like make a prediction of like, oh, you need to get it close to ours, which I think is something I didn't clarify last year. It's mostly just like, hey, this is a thing for fun to have for you, just like, you know, see which of these battles you would think would be the best song out of them, and just find what you think would be the best song out of all the Persona songs we selected.
And I don't know if you mentioned this. If you are part of our Patreon, then you actually get the podcast, the bonus podcast of us narrowing down the songs.
That's true. So yeah.
So benefit of being one of our buddies is that you get to hear us without censoring talk about Persona music and make the reasons why we cut certain things.
So like that, so. like you said, that is an exclusive episode specifically for patrons only. So if you want access to that, you can sign up for a Patreon, and you'll be able to listen to our basically our process of cutting down from like 90 plus songs to 64, which I thought was a fun little thing that we got to do, like a little good behind the scenes thing.
It was fun.
for that episode. So yeah, look. So like I said, that'll either go up. The bracket will either go up on Twitter and other places as well on Saturday when this episode normally goes up, or it'll be like Sunday. It'll probably be during that weekend, and yeah, we will definitely promote it. So
participate and have fun with us.
Just have fun. Fill out your own bracket. Don't have to like make it so like, oh, what does Jared now think that would be the correct answer? It's like, no, just it is your answers. It's you filling out your bracket, you filling out what you think is correct, what you like, what criteria you want, and you just coming up with what you think is your favorite or what you think is the best Persona song.
I'm also interested to see like what other people think.
Yes.
Because we filled out ours today.
We have officially filled out our brackets, and we had one common song between our final four. And which makes sense, we are two different people, but
we had one common song between our final two as well.
That is true as well. We had some similar battles going up through the bracket as well, so it's going to be interesting to see like what other people think as well. So I'm excited to see.
And then our objective decisions, as opposed to our like, this is my personal feeling decision. Should be fun.
So yeah, like I said, that episode will come at some point in March, obviously. But until then, you'll be able to fill out your predictions and do all that and get hyped for that episode, which will be a lot of fun. But
yes.
But as for now, next week we will most likely be doing the Resident Evil 2 episode. So look forward to that. We just have
to do the other routes.
Yeah.
How do I get me a cute science boy?
The question on everyone's minds.
It's true. I don't know. You want a wealthy landowner.